Hello, welcome to another vlog, the month of June. I actually had a really good month. I think it's been getting better. I think last month was hard because I'm obviously still a bit in this limbo position where my contract is ending, everyone at work knows I'm leaving, I'm not getting any new projects, I'm being pushed out of the projects I've been working on for years, and just the vibe is a bit weird, but overall it's getting so much better and I'm feeling better about myself. I'm gonna try and be concise because the vlog's already like 35 minutes long or something. But yeah, so I had a really good month. I started the month in Barcelona. I finished it in Norwich, so super grateful that I get to travel and see some beautiful parts of Europe. Also, don't mind this, it's my little lemon because I have a huge pimple underneath. My friend gifted it to me. And yeah, travel, loads of cultural things. Now that it's summer, there's so many things going on, so many great concerts. Also, by the way, for the people watching this, you're probably thinking it's crazy how many things, like cultural things, she does. It's not my usual life. It's just that I moved back to London in December. Before that, I was in Brussels for 3 years. The cultural scene in Brussels was really not my thing. So for 3 years, I barely did anything. And so now I'm really enjoying being back in London and getting to do all those things. And I'm again also enjoying the fact that I have a salary. It will probably go down after I'm done with my contract because I will need to properly save, and that's also part of it. I'm enjoying being in London now because I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stay, unless I decide to look for a job straight away or in just a couple of months. But if I'm staying jobless for a while and focusing on more creative projects, then I will probably have to leave London because it's just not a city where you can live if you don't make a lot of money. But I'll be in London until the end of the year for sure, and then we'll see. So yeah, loads of cultural things that you will see. It was a great month for that, really. And yeah, just also so grateful for my family and my friends. Some great times. I went to my brother's girlfriend's graduation, had a bachelorette, seen friends. Very grateful for Carmen. I think our relationship is in a really good place compared to a couple of months ago. I think there's still a lot of work to do, to be fully honest. Yeah, I think also the fact that it's summer, I'm feeling so much better, even though there was a huge heat wave that is very worrying from a climate change perspective, and that was really unbearable in London. Even though there are loads of green spaces, the fact that there's so much concrete, it keeps the warmth, and then in the evening it all rises up and there was no air, and it was really hard. And I'm super privileged, so I don't even know, people that are in really poorly insulated buildings or crammed in a small space. So I live by myself, so I'm really lucky. But anyway, I hope you enjoy it, and I'm going from like a really important topic, serious topic, to like, I hope you enjoy my vlog. Life, huh? Let's try not to think about it too much because otherwise we get existential dread, but still think about it enough that we try to change things. I hope you enjoy it. Lots of love. Bisous. We started the month in Barcelona to celebrate my brother's girlfriend's graduation from medical school. We got a cute little flat outside of Barcelona because we go really often, so we thought it would be nice to be outside of the city for once. First seawater baths of the year. This is my mom walking little truffe. So for her graduation, my brother's gift to his girlfriend was this experience at this Michelin star restaurant called Disfrutar It was really amazing. My brother's a huge foodie, and so he doesn't spend money on anything but food and good restaurants, and the experience was insane. I'll let you enjoy the dessert part now, you'll see. I really only filmed the dessert part because I really wanted to enjoy the time and the experience with my family. This is Cam and I in a coma after the lunch. But it was really wonderful. It was the first time that I've ever been to a restaurant like this, and it felt really, really special. And this is my mom trying to brush Truff's teeth after. She is not enjoying it. This is the first book that I read this month. Honestly, horrible book. I'm not even going to talk about it too much. My dad bought it for me and it made him happy that I read it, but it was just an old man talking about other old men, and I was so over it. Don't read it. Little beginning of the month. Not really beginning, it's already the 8th, but still. Little check-in. So I came back from Barcelona, where I went for my sister-in-law's graduation. It was super emotional. I'm super proud of her, and I think through this time we kind of grew a lot closer, because I think seeing someone with their family and, you know, seeing all the struggles they've been through, because she's from Venezuela and she started studying medicine again after starting in Venezuela, then coming to Spain and it not being valid, like the studies that she did there, having to start again, but for a bit, like having to do a lot of different jobs in order to get like her papers and all of that in order, and being on a scholarship. And it's just really impressive everything that she's been through to, you know, end up being a doctor. And so it was very emotional, and I'm very glad I went. And then the next day we landed on the Saturday back in London, and then the next day I took a train to meet some friends who were at a bachelorette from my friend from uni. And I couldn't go to the bachelorette because I had promised to go to the graduation, but I still wanted to be there for the Sunday lunch, which was very nice and just very wholesome. And Nadia, my friend who's getting married, wrote me a really nice card, and the whole week just has made me super emotional and super grateful for having all these people in my life and all these women that I really find admirable. And yeah, so now it's Sunday evening. I have the Sunday scaries because I have to work tomorrow, but I'm trying to focus on the gratefulness and the gratitude. Whatever, you got it. And just trying to be a little bit in my body. So I'm going to stretch and do some skincare, have a bowl of pasta, and just reflect on how lucky I am to have all these people in my life. Yeah. Guess what? I said I wouldn't go back, but I did have to go back with the 6:30 a.m. train to Brussels. But I did a little pilgrimage this time, and this is the bench where I first waited for Cam when he first came to Brussels to see me, and this is the metro station where he came out. And that was a year and a half ago. Memories! But even though I was there for work, I still got to catch up with some friends, and we went to a pink screen screening. We watched this No Pride in Genocide queer cinema for Palestine, which was really amazing. It was several little movies from Palestinian directors mostly. And then I came back to London, and the next day we went to the Barbican. We went to watch Khatia Buniatishvili, who is an amazing contemporary pianist. And this was the end of her residency at the Barbican, so she invited loads of friends to sing and play with her. And that's what also made it great, is that most of the people on stage were women or people of color, and it just feels really good to see different people on stage, especially when it comes to classical music, which is not the most inclusive space. It's often a bunch of old men. And this was a motto of the Barbican, and Cam had to stop to look at it. So today we are working from home. So we're gonna do a what we eat in a day. So this is 2 za'atar fried eggs, 1 cracker with, well, he's got 2 crackers with hummus, and then, because I forgot to order some bread, and then loads of broccolini, even though it's not really in season anymore, so I should really buy more seasonal vegetables. But yeah, it's like crunchy. You can hear.
ASMR.
And a coffee. And that's, right now it's 11, so it's breakfast / brunch. So next up we have yogurt bowls with full-fat Greek yogurt, a big spoon of peanut butter, some kind of cooked, they're not really cooked, but strawberries, because they were too hard. So what I do is that I put them in lemon juice and cane sugar for a couple of hours, and they kind of cook in the lemon juice, and it makes them really nice and sweet. And then there's granola, oats, chia seeds, and yeah, peanut butter. So yeah, that's our little snack. He's so cute. And so for dinner, Cam made us a little salmon bowl. So this is salmon that we marinated in like sesame oil, lemon, some different types of spices, sesame seeds, cumin, lemon peel, and then some basmati rice, some asparagus, and some spinach. And we have kewpie mayo and laugama. And before dinner we snacked on some pieces of cheddar that I bought, and I'll show you dessert after. That's the dish post kewpie mayo and laugama. Oh, you're mixing it all.
Yeah.
Post mixing, and it's delicious. The last thing we're eating today is a clafoutis with blueberries that I made. We have here some Cornish sea salt caramel brittle ice cream.
Oh yeah.
And a tea in my favorite mug painted by Cam. Je suis truffe.
How good is that?
So good. Overall, it was a good day of eating. What would you say?
It was a perfect day of eating.
Yes. I'm going to a birthday, and I just wanted to show you how good my makeup looks. I haven't done my lips yet, but it's so glowy and moisturized. I went for a facial today, that's also why. Probably my last facial for a while after I don't have a salary anymore, but that's okay. We need to enjoy our time on this earth. And this is what I'm wearing. It's this little outfit from Don't Mind the Mess from Desigual that I got at the airport last week. And yeah, I'm a bit anxious about not wearing a bra, to be honest, because I don't do it often, but I've been telling myself that I need to stop hiding my breasts so much. I've been really self-conscious about my breasts for literally, 13 years now since I got them, and because everyone always for years, especially in my teenage years, pointed them out to me. Like, oh yeah, Lucy, like, oh yeah, she's got huge boobs, whatever. And they're not even that huge, like it's a D cup. But they're big compared to most people. And yeah, I think all these repetitive comments for years have made me really self-conscious about them. So I've been really hiding them. Even I remember, like, recently, I remember asking one of my friends, like, what's like my most like emblematic feature when you think about me, and she said my boobs, and I was like, okay. Like, I don't know, my eyes, my hair, I don't know, whatever. But I was just thinking, like, if I don't show them off now, I never will, and I want to stop caring about what people think. So, oops. And then we went back with my friend Jess to the Southbank Centre to see the Yoshitomo Nara exhibition. It was really wonderful. It's the second exhibition I see in the Southbank Centre, and both have been really great. So I highly recommend it. It's there until the end of August. It just had this sense of nostalgia to it that I can't even really explain. Well, obviously his work is deeply political. It talks a lot about nuclear incidents in Japan and its effects on children. So it's got this eeriness and deep sadness to it, which you can clearly feel. And it just touches your soul, so it was incredible. Second book of the month, and this one I loved, thank God, because the last one was so bad. Because this one I actually picked myself. It's called La Pulpe et le Jus, The Pulp and the Juice by Laura Chomet, and it was just such a good novel. I'm going to like try to be really concise to explain the plot, but I think it's just so fun and smart. It's smart and just really fun to read. So the plot is basically this girl who is hypochondriac and like really severely hypochondriac, and it's ruining her life. And she's constantly obsessed with, like, she's convinced that she has a stomach cancer. And at the same time, she's watching this reality TV show where they basically take people that have really bad phobia or anxieties, and they try to, it's called The Healers, and they try to heal them without them really knowing that they're in a show. So they put like loads of people in their life to try and, like, let's say you have really bad self-esteem, they'll like have a really hot actor therapist date you so that you feel better about yourself, and loads of like very morally, like ethically questionable things to try to heal those people. And she loves that show, and she is so hypochondriac that she goes and sees her doctor so much, and eventually she convinces her doctor to go like give her like a stomach scan, which her doctor didn't want to do for a while, because her doctor was just like, what you need is like psychiatric or psychological help. She does that scan, and it turns out she does have stomach cancer. And the second they tell her she has stomach cancer, she starts being convinced that she doesn't actually have stomach cancer and that she's actually in the show. She's the next contestant of The Healers, and that this is whole part of the show. And that's just a reality TV, and that she's not actually sick, even though she was convinced she was sick for years, you know? And I won't spoil the plot and what happens next, but I just thought it's so smart to think. I would have never thought about a plot like that, and I really wonder, I read up on the author, and she's a professor in Bordeaux, I think, of literature, but I'm just always in awe at like imagination of fiction writer like this, because I just find it really impressive. So it was a really fun read, and I'm happy I picked it randomly in a bookshop because no one advised it or anything like that. I just liked the title. I'm very drawn to titles. I just think The Pulp and the Juice was a good one. I don't know. Anyway, So yeah, second read of the month. Just wanted to update you on my nails. A couple of weeks or months back, I was saying how damaged they were and they were really horrible. And they look so much better. I stopped doing any type of gel or now I just do them myself, get rid of the cuticles and put like strengthening clear nail polish. I just keep them like that, and I've been really enjoying them, and they just look really healthy, like so much healthier. And they're actually hard, which they used to be so soft and bendy. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing that for a while, I think. We got to see Lil Simz in concert at the Royal Festival Hall. She was playing with an orchestra called the Chineke Orchestra. I booked those tickets months ago because she's this year's curator of the Meltdown, which is the festival of the Southbank Centre. And I had the time of my life, and I will leave you to enjoy the music now.
Silver linings, it took time to learn about Carmen. I got lost in it, you got lost in it, you clocked out. I stayed lost in it, what it cost to me this damn hot. Who knew love would be so damn toxic, intoxicated, exhilarated, finally moved on. I'll never stay till you gonna move on. Hearts on fire, hearts on brand new. Don't let down to champagne doors. It's about the party exception. Everybody's talking the music, should've been. Marble floors, two glass doors. What you in for? Did you read the floor?
The last book I read this month is quite a big one, almost 400 pages, but most importantly it's non-fiction, which you know is quite rare for me. It's called Careless People, A Story of Where I Used to Work by Sarah Wynn Williams. Are you filming me? Okay. Because Cam's right here. It's the first time that I do a book review in front of someone and I feel a bit shy, so... And it's also really warm. It's like... It's 30 degrees in this room.
You're doing great.
Yeah. So I might take a little bit of time to talk about this because it's a book that like weirdly meant a lot to me in the stage of my life that I'm in professionally, because this is the story of the whistleblower of Facebook, now Meta, who is, so this woman called Sarah Wynn Williams, she used to be the director of global public policy at Facebook. And it means a lot to me because this is kind of the kind of job that like I would be aiming towards if I had stayed in my current job. I'm, for those who don't know, a policy consultant, like political communications, public policy consultant. And so a lot of the things that she describes, so even though I'm a consultant, which means I work for a lot of different companies, and obviously she only works for one, and she's also at a much more senior role than I am, it's kind of the role that I would be aiming towards if I was staying in this career, which I might, you know, but right now I quit my job. And I think I related to a lot of the things that she was saying and a lot of the interactions that she's had with people who work in public policy and in tech policy in particular. Two of our clients are really big tech companies and I work on one of them. And so that's why I think a lot of the things that she recalls that I think a lot of people might think are like completely fake or very much fictionalized, I know for a fact are true. I don't know for a fact, but like I can completely see them as being true. It's a very shocking book that really tells you a lot about the impact of big tech companies, and particularly Meta, on politics around the world, on elections around the world. And yeah, it's really just, it's disgusting. And it really made me think of when I think it was when Trump got elected again, there was a really good opinion piece in The Guardian called something around, you can Google it, but something around I knew the world will be ruined by men, but I didn't think they would be such losers. And it's a really good article. If you can read it. And this made me think of that, because this just proved to me how much of a loser Mark Zuckerberg and everyone working around him really is. And it's such a huge book, I can't really tell you in detail everything that it says, but obviously it talks about a lot of Facebook's influence in a lot of countries, including the Philippines, Myanmar, obviously the US, it colluding with China, and the kind of weird obsession that Mark Zuckerberg has with China and being on the Chinese market, to a point that they did a lot of things with the current Chinese government that are very borderline illegal. And she actually testified, I think in Congress, the woman who wrote this, about this. So just really read it, and yeah, that's all I can say. And then I feel like there is something else that I wanted to say that I felt was important. Oh yeah, blatant sexism, to the point that the women in the company had to create what they named the Feminist Fight Club. She actually got fired because she reported someone who sexually harassed her in the company, her boss. And she asked to be, she said she won't say anything if she gets to be moved teams, and they didn't approve that move, and instead they fired her. So it just, yeah, whereas Sheryl Sandberg, who was the CEO of Facebook for years, is supposed to be a huge feminist advocate of women's rights, and during the Me Too movement, she was one of the people in the tech industry saying women should speak up, blah blah, a bunch of bullshit, obviously. So yeah, I think for me it felt quite personal, because I felt like I kind of knew a lot of these people, because it feels like I work with a lot of people like this, similar people, careless people that don't realize that at the end of the day it's not just about business, and it actually, the way you conduct business actually has impacts on people's lives. And it's also sparked a lot of discussions at work, and that's what I wanted to say, where some of my colleagues, so I have a few of my colleagues that have read it, and I have a few of my colleagues that haven't read it because they do not believe, they kind of, because she stayed in Facebook for I think 8 or 7 years, and it's fair to say that, she profited of it in a way, because she got shares in the company, she got a really high position, she, made a career out of it, because now she's, I think, a consultant in AI and things like the AI policy. But she could also just have done that, and when she didn't agree, just either leave silently or, and she chose to be a whistleblower and to say something. And I think a lot of my phone is falling. A lot of my colleagues were saying that it's a bit two-faced to be profiting of it for years and now make a book to profit even more from Meta, and then frame yourself as this moral queen. But I would argue that a lot of people would never have done what she has done, meaning becoming a whistleblower. And while I agree that she has profited of it, she has also had the guts to actually say something about it, which is something that can be said about a lot of people. So that's it. I really recommend reading it if you're into anything policy related or kind of the junction between the public and the private sector. As you can tell, I was trying to wear my natural hair most of this month, and after a few days it kind of just aggregates into these big curls at the bottom, which is quite strange, but I don't mind it. I just wanted to point out that most of the month I was working. I don't actually show that very often because it's very boring, but this is what most of the month actually looked like. The last week I didn't do much apart from working until the very end of the week. With summer, there's just so many cultural things to do, so we went to the opera. I'm going to the opera with Cam. I'm dragging him to the opera now. I got his consent. Can you guess what we're going to see by my outfit? We're going to see Carmen. I've actually never seen Carmen before. I'm not like a super huge opera connoisseur, but my grandpa used to be a very big opera fan, and all of my memories of him are like in his office with like blasting classical music or opera, so it's like linked to a lot of emotions for me. I've been to the opera quite a lot when I used to live in Brussels, because they had this great thing where you could go to like the final rehearsals if you were under 30 for like very small price, like between 10 to 50 euros, which is very cheap for opera tickets. So that's kind of when my love for opera also grew. Even though like I don't have like huge knowledge, but I just really appreciate it, and it's one of like these art forms that really, really make me feel things. So I'm really excited because I've never been to the Opera House in London. So, and it's not gonna happen again for a while because the tickets were really pricey. But before that, we're getting noodles. So I'll tell you how it goes. My hair needs a little refreshing, but that's okay because I have very light makeup, and the dress is like, dress is the main show. We're still in that mood of like not being ashamed of our breasts anymore. So I still have a little foulard, a little shawl to put over myself just in case I feel uncomfortable in the tube, because that's what being a woman is. But we're feeling less self-conscious about our body, or at least we're trying. So we did not actually have anything to drink or to eat in the opera house, but we just went around and they had loads of really nice bars, which I had no idea about. Look how beautiful the kind of atrium is. It was very expensive though, so we had cheap noodles before. But yeah, they also have a rooftop bar with a view on Covent Garden. It was my first time in the Royal Opera House, and it was very beautiful. Just got back. I ended up putting this on because everyone in the tube was very drunk. I didn't want to have any comments or weird stares by weird men. And I also stained myself with ice cream, so that's my life. I stain myself literally all the time. It was so good. Wait, let me put my PJs on. Here we go. We had such a nice night. It was a full house. Like even the standing seats were occupied, which is like you really need stamina because it's like 3 hours long. Yeah, the first part was the first 2 acts was 95 minutes, and then there's a break of 20 minutes, and then it's 65 minutes. So you really need to be like willing to stay standing. But it was so good. Dinner was good and perfect timing as well. And then the opera, honestly, Carmen just has so many bangers. That opera has so many bangers. And like, I know you know them too. Like, anyone who even doesn't know anything about opera knows those songs. So check them out. And yeah, it's just such a, you know, Bizet just really knew what he was doing. It was so good, and the set design was so good. Yeah, it was a female conductor, which like usually I notice straight away. Anytime that there's a woman doing anything, I notice it. Like women bus drivers, pilots, whatever. I always say to Cam or 21 who's with me, like, oh look, it's a woman. And this time he noticed before me. He's like, look, Lucy, a female conductor, and she was young as well, really impressive. Yeah, it was really fun, and it's really a shame that the opera is this expensive, because it should really be accessible to anyone, because it's just one of those arts that just gives you the chills and really reminds you that life is beautiful. I don't know, at least that's what it does for me. And also it really resets your brain, because I feel, I'm yapping now, but I consume so much, everyone consumes so much fast-paced things in their lives more and more, like TikToks, Reels, whatever, like quick media. You need to be able to read the article like this. You put your podcast on 1.5, you put your voice notes of your friend in 1.5 or 2. Everything has to be fast. Opera, it's gonna be 3 hours. You're going to have to sit and almost meditate, you know? And of course read also, but everything is slow. They repeat the same sentences several times. Obviously it picks up the pace sometimes, but you know what I mean? So I feel like it's a good reboot for the brain. So it's really a shame that it's not more accessible. I know in some cities they try to make it more accessible, like as I was saying earlier with Brussels, and I think Paris does that as well, especially for young people, but still, it's like, they don't, even if they do, they don't promote it enough, so yeah, it's a shame. But I had a really lovely evening, and now I'm taking off my makeup, and I'm going to bed, and brushing my teeth, and then going to bed. Thanks for letting me yap. You can see how much dark circles I have the second I take off my concealer, but it's fine. Good night. And we ended the month by going to Norwich for the weekend with Cam's family, because Cam's dad's friend was having a little party for his wedding. So on the Saturday we roamed around Norwich, which was really cute city. Loads of cute little shops. How many times can I say cute? A nice medieval castle. Overall, like, yeah, the streets were just very homey and lovely. Some very nice shops. This was a lovely bookshop that we found. Yeah, it really made me want to move there. You know that feeling when you go somewhere and you're like, should I move there? And this is us on the way to the wedding. We bought some sunflowers for the brides, and they really went all out for the party. There were different food trucks with really nice food, really good pizza, a mini golf, a bouncy castle. Like, it was super family friendly, but most importantly it was on a farm, their farm, so there were loads of different farm animals, like donkeys. I love donkeys, so I really had the time of my life. And it was also dog friendly, so there were loads of dogs. Look at these huge malamutes. But the funniest part was when an alpaca spit on Cam. I'll leave you with the video because it's too funny. Hi! Oh yeah, okay.
You lied to me!
I thought it was llamas! I swear I thought it was llamas! And on Sunday we went for a swim. I didn't see any seals, but it was still very nice. And that's the end of the month. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next month. Bisous!